in this video, I'm going to show you the entire process of buying and reselling phones for a profit, otherwise known as phone flipping. I'm going to show you exactly how to find and buy phones for cheap, how to fully check them, and how to resell them for a profit. Now, I would say I'm pretty experienced with this as I started this at 15 years old and I've been doing it the last 3 years and I've made well over $300,000 in pure profit. So I would say my knowledge I'm going to share with you in this video is pretty credible. And if you guys do want more videos teaching you guys how to start phone flipping, please like and subscribe as it does help out the channel a lot, but let's get into it. So if you are new around here, phone flipping is basically just buying a phone for under what it's valued and then reselling it at what it's valued, and then you make a profit. Pretty simple. And it's just like any other form of reselling, whether you're reselling cars, sneakers, or flipping random shit at a garage sale. But the real reason why we resell phones instead is because it's the biggest market in the world. Out of all the first world countries like the US, the UK, the rest of Europe, Canada, Australia, over 90% of people have iPhones. That's like 1 billion people, and these same people every single day are upgrading their phones and then selling their old phone for dirt cheap on marketplaces for people like us to sweep in, buy the phone, resell it, and make a profit. So first is, where are we actually going to be finding and buying these cheap phones to resell? Well, we're going to be using the local listing apps like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp, Kijiji, or any other local listing apps where people buy and sell secondhand shit. But I would suggest keeping your focus on Facebook Marketplace as it is the most popular. And now, what iPhone models will actually be reselling? Well, you can in fact make a profit off any iPhone model, but I would suggest, if starting out, to stick to your iPhone X's, 11s, and 12s, as there's a decent amount of profit to be made on them, but they're cheap enough where number one, it's not a risk, and number two, they're easily affordable. So now let's actually talk about how much you should be buying these phones for so that you are making a profit, and actually understanding what is a cheap phone and what isn't a cheap phone. So just head over to one of your local listing marketplaces. I'm going to personally use Facebook Marketplace, and we're going to search for iPhones and find the average price of each iPhone. And we're going to do this by, for example, searching up an iPhone 11, and let's say there's 10 iPhone 11s listed and 7 of them are listed at $300. That is roughly your average market price, meaning if you were to buy an iPhone 11 at $220 or under, that is a good price to buy at, as you'll be able to profit at least $80. But the best way to actually know exactly how much each phone sells for in your marketplace is by actually selling phones. So what I mean is, once you know your rough price for each phone, go ahead and get one for $100 less than that, and then list it up at that average market price. And if it sells within like 2, 3, or 4 days, then that is a good price to continue selling at. But let's say it takes over a week to sell, then you might have priced it a little bit too high and the market value would be a little bit below that. So what I'm actually trying to say here is just get into the game, build some experience, and then you'll know exactly how much each phone goes for. But now what you're actually here for, how to find these iPhones for cheap. You're gonna head over to your marketplaces. I'm going to use Facebook Marketplace for this example, and you're just gonna search up iPhones in your local area, and you're just gonna scroll through the listings and see if any of them are listed for cheap, meaning listed for under that market value that you already figured out. But look, 9 times out of 10, there probably won't be any cheap phones listed the first time you search, but don't be discouraged. This is normal. This just means at the current time you searched, there was no cheapies listed. Which is why, if you're actually wanting to find these cheap phones and make these fat profits, you actually need to be checking your marketplaces often. Like, I personally check them every 20 to 30 minutes at least as well. It only takes a second to do, and this is exactly how you're going to find these cheap phones. Now let's say the time comes and you find a cheap iPhone listed, like one that is $100 below the market value that you perceived. You just want to message them straight up, no bullshit. Hey, I will come pick up immediately and pay in cash. As well, look, it's a cheap phone. They're going to be getting plenty of messages of people wanting to buy their phone. So you want to stand out by being the simplest, the easiest, and the fastest. And as another example, let's say you find an iPhone for only $50 below market value. You can still send them this message, but just state the price you're wanting to buy it. Like, as an example, let's say you see an iPhone 11 listed for $250 and you know you can sell that iPhone 11 for $300, but you want to make more than just $50 profit. What you're going to do is message them, hey, I will come pick up immediately, pay in cash if you would take $200, as you want to make more than $50 profit, and this can still work as you're only asking for $50 less to deliver an easy, quick, and simple buy. But now, obviously, I understand there might be a few details you need to know before you actually buy the phone, as their ad might not contain enough information, but I would suggest waiting until the seller expresses interest in selling the phone to you before you ask any questions, as sometimes if you just bombard them with questions right out the gate, they might just ignore you. But anyway, now I'm actually going to use all this information I've given you guys so far in this video and actually go and get an under market value phone. So I'll check back in with you guys once I've done that. Okay, so it has been about 2 to 3 hours since our last clip, and we have organized to go pick up an iPhone 11 128GB with no damage for $250, and simply by just checking my marketplace, I can see that I can sell it for $400, meaning it's a pretty good buy, around $150 in profit, but check back in with you guys once we go get it. Okay, we're now back home with the phone. As you can see, it is honestly in mint condition. And well, I did in fact thoroughly check the phone before I actually bought it, but I didn't really want to sit in a driveway recording and teaching you guys how to check a phone, as I'm sure you could understand why I wouldn't want to do that. But anyway, we're back home now, so this is exactly how you're going to thoroughly check the phone. Okay, so it'll be more than likely reset when you actually meet up with the seller to buy the phone. So what we're going to do is a quick start, which is getting into the phone with absolutely nothing on it, just so we can test it and check out everything. So you're going to start off by just swiping up, then selecting your language, and then selecting the country. Then from here, you just want to connect your phone to a hotspot or a local Wi-Fi. Then once it's finished loading, you just want to skip everything. You don't want to add a passcode. You don't want to transfer any data or apps, and you don't want to log into your Apple ID. And then you just want to continue skipping absolutely everything. And then about after 2 minutes of skipping everything, you'll eventually be into the phone, and it'll be all reset with absolutely nothing on it, but you can now test all the functions and check everything is all okay. So the first thing I always do is I go straight to settings, and I make sure that there is no iCloud or Apple ID logged into the account. And let's say for example there is, just ask the seller to try log out, and if they can't, just don't buy the phone as it's locked and you can't do anything. Then next you want to head to the phone app, then type into the keypad asterisk hashtag 06 hashtag, and then it'll come up with your 15-digit IMEI code. Then from here you just want to search up on Google an IMEI checker, and then click any IMEI checker website, and then you just want to enter the IMEI from here and put it into here. And then once you've done that, you just want to run the IMEI and make sure that it comes up as unblocked. As if this IMEI number is blocked, that means the phone is pretty much unusable because either it's stolen or it owes money on it still. Do not buy the phone whatsoever. Then from here, we actually just want to check that the phone is in the correct condition, and it's in the condition that they stated in the ad. So check for any scratches, any dings, any marks, or anything they just never mentioned. And let's say for example there is scratches or dents or cracks they never mentioned, you just want to bring it up with them and try and negotiate and get the price down as well. If it has these problems, you're going to have to sell the phone with these problems, so you're going to have to get the phone for cheaper so you can make the same amount of profit. Then after checking that, we're going to make sure that all the functions work. So we're going to head over to the camera, make sure that the camera works all good, both zooms and the front and the back camera. Then we're going to make sure that the speakers work all good. Then we're also going to check and make sure the microphone works all good by going to the voice memos app and then just recording our voice speaking. Then the next function we're going to check is to make sure that the Face ID works all good and all correctly. Then make sure that the volume up button works, the volume down button, make sure that the silent ringer works all good, and that the power button works perfectly. Next, with either a portable charger or a charger in your car, you just want to plug the phone in and make sure that it charges all correctly, as you can see. And that's pretty much everything you need to check. So once you've checked it and it's all good to go, then just hand the person the cash, buy the phone, then head home and get ready to resell it. Quick piece of advice: if for example there is anything wrong with it or any defects, just try use it as a negotiating point to get the phone for cheaper, because obviously you're going to have to sell the phone for cheaper. Okay, now it's time to resell it, which is the simple part. We're just going to resell it straight back onto Facebook Marketplace. So first thing you want to do is just clean the phone. So just give it a wipe on the front, give it a wipe on the back. You're going to take a couple photos of the phone with the screen on, the phone with the screen off, the back of the phone, the sides of the phone to show if there's any scratches. And then you want to take a photo of the phone showing its battery health percentage. And then for the title, you're going to state the iPhone model, the storage space, and then the condition of the phone. So for example, for this ad, I'm going to list it iPhone 11, 128GB mint condition. And now for the description, you actually want to make this pretty good, as it'll make the sale go a lot quicker. So you just want to start off by talking about the condition, that it's in good condition. Then you're going to state that every function works perfectly and that you can test the functions on arrival. Then you're going to say the battery health percentage and that the battery lasts like all day. And then you're going to state that it's iCloud unlocked. And then depending if it's network unlocked or not, you're going to state if it's network unlocked, and if it's not network unlocked, obviously state what network it's locked to. And lastly, for the pricing, you just want to list it at the market value price that you would have figured out before you actually went and bought the phone. So for this iPhone 11, I'm listing it at $400, so that's about $150 in profit. And boom, it's all posted. Now I just sit back and wait for a buyer to contact me, and when they do, I'll just organize a time for them to come pick up from my place. And now obviously this is an option if you don't want people picking up phones from your house, you can just meet them somewhere locally. But yeah, once a buyer does contact me, I'll just sell them the phone, they'll give me the cash, and I'll profit $150. But I will say I actually do this at a bit more of a scaled up level where I actually get bulk broken phones in and I have my technician repair them for cheap and make about 15 to 20k a month. So if you want to know more about how I do that and how you can too, I actually have another video of mine showing the process on how you can. So if you want to check that out, it's the very first link in the description. But anyway, that's been everything you need to know to start phone flipping in 2024. So make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.